Tudor have a tendency to keep things below the radar when they want to, especially when it comes to limited edition and special editions. I mean, let's look at the Harrods 175th Black Bay Limited Edition. You've got this really cool gold bezel combined with stainless steel and a pretty beautiful green dial. If you rewind a little bit more, you'll actually see that they did another limited edition with Harrods. Again, that had no marketing around it. It was purely watch enthusiasts speaking about it that got the community involved with its release. Then you have things like this Black Bay 58 Royal and Specialist Protection Limited Edition. Then again, taking a step further, you have things like the Tudor Prince chronograph that was released for one watch for charity, and that was back in 2023. My point here is when Tudor release limited editions or special editions, they kind of let the community do the marketing for them. It's almost like a dopamine rush we get for finding one of these kind of relatively unknown watches in the community and talking about it to other people. Thus, we do the marketing for them. And as I was looking at these limited watches, as I was looking at these special edition watches that have very little in the way of marketing, I found this. This is the new Tudor Pelagos FXD Chrono in pink, and it celebrates the girl, d'Italia. Now, there's a good few things that make this watch really special that I'm actually wearing at the moment. I try and wear these watches before I review them just so I can get a feel for how they actually wear on the wrist, because you can never tell by looking at a watch online. There's a couple of really key points, really unique points about this watch that make it so special and make it so different from anything else. So let's start with what this watch is, then let's get onto the specs really quickly, and then finally we'll cover what makes this watch so special. And there's a couple of details on here that Tudor, they just don't normally do them, and I don't know why more people aren't speaking about this. So this watch, of course, supports the Giro Italia, and this is one of the most prestigious Grand Tours in the professional circuit, and Tudor is the official timekeeper of this race. So essentially, it's a cycling watch. Now, it can't be confused with the previous iteration of the Tudor FXD Chrono Cycling Edition, which came in red, because that one wasn't technically limited edition, and this one is. They're also two different colors. Now, the pink jersey on this course actually represents victory at the Giro and has over a century of storied history behind it. The race started in 1909 and continues today at the highest level of cycling in the world. Now, just to give you a little fun fact about this race, the riders that are riding within this race will actually experience 6 Mount Everest's worth of elevation through the course of the race. 6 Mount Everest worth. I can't even say that. It's even hard to say, never mind do. And now we get to the specs. So this watch comes in at 43 millimeters in diameter. With that said, I would say it wears more like a 42. Reason being is because black typically camouflages size, and this watch predominantly is black, including the actual case material, which we'll move on to in a second. So I would say it wears that little bit smaller, and it's really weird how light it is. It kind of gives me a vertigo of the wrist just because of how light this watch is. I did not expect it at all. It comes in at 53 millimeters lug to lug and 13.2 millimeters in thickness. It, of course, has sapphire crystal glass, is water resistant to 100 meters, and it has a single piece black fabric strap or a NATO strap with a pink stripe down the middle. Now, I'm actually very impressed with this strap. I'm very impressed with the colors that it is. I'm very impressed with the quality. I'm very impressed with the quality of the strap on this watch, that's not normal for me. Normally, if a watch comes with a NATO strap, I'm like, well, they could have put it on a bracelet or they could have put it on a high quality rubber being my preference, but this feels good, and it also lends itself perfectly to the watch, and also, going one step ahead of that, the sport. I mean, it's all about being lightweight, it's all about being aerodynamic, it's all about those marginal gains you can get, so it makes sense that Tudor have done this in the lightest way possible using a fabric strap. I am a huge fan of the fixed strap bars on this as well, on that note. It's so easy, like literally, that is the NATO strap out of this watch. And you can slot another one in, you can do what you want. It's really, really easy to use, and it gives the watch a really unique look. The actual material of the head of this watch comes in a matte black carbon composite, which is partially why it's so bloomin' light. And it's quite weird. Like, it's weird to feel how light this watch is when you know it can do so much. Yeah, it's quite strange. And the interesting thing about this is because it's an FXD model, remember that this is carved, this is crafted out of one singular piece of that carbon composite, which is quite a lengthy process and quite difficult to do. When we get into the dial of this watch, in terms of functionality, you have hours, minutes, small seconds, and then you have a chronograph with a 45-minute register, central seconds, you have a date, and a cycling tachymeter. The movement on this watch behind the closed case pack is the caliber MT5813, and this is a fully automatic chronograph movement with a power reserve of 70 hours, 41 joules, and it beats at a frequency of 28,800 VPH. By the way, nerdy detail, but something that I noticed on this watch is the sound of it winding is really amazing. Like I don't know if this will come through the mic. Maybe, you know what I'll do? I shouldn't be doing this. I hope you guys can hear that, because otherwise I probably look just really weird. And now we get to the point that makes this watch so special, or the couple of points, in my opinion, that makes this watch so special. So when you flip this watch around to the case back, you'll see something that isn't featured on the previous iteration, the red iteration of the FXD Chrono. So on the FXD Chrono, the red one, it's just a blank case back. You don't really have much going on there. But on this one, you do. When you look at the case back, you can see the engraving of the cyclists, and then you can see what number your watch is out of 300. Now, I just want to highlight that there are only 300 of this watch in the world. If Tudor keep growing at the way that they are and the popularity continues to boom the way that it is, 300 worldwide, even right now, is tiny. It is a fraction. It is 0.001 of Tudor's production. It is absolutely minute. So to have one of 300, that is a super, super special watch. And the next special thing is that Tudor do not do limited editions. They don't really do special editions. And that's because sometimes specific models, for example, the Flamingo that came out or the Pink Chrono, they are very limited anyway. So they don't really need to be limited edition because they're limited production. And the third thing in this watch is actually the hour markers. So when you look at the hour markers, it's almost like 3D blocks of lume, and it looks absolutely phenomenal. It looks like this watch has another dimension to it. It has a kind of 3D look to it, and that lume is so strong and so bright. I've actually seen it during the day. Like literally, it'll get kind of mid-afternoonish. I put an Instagram post up the other day, and it was like mid-afternoonish, and you could still see the faint glow coming or starting to come alive from that lume. It was absolutely unbelievable. I much prefer this light pink color, if I'm perfectly honest, to the red. That's just my personal preference. I think it gives this watch another dimension, and I do feel that the pink just stands out against the black that little bit more strongly, shall we say. By the way, you know what would go really well with this, because of the kind of more pink, quirky colors, is the Summit Collection from Chisholm Hunter. That is my very own gents jewelry collection. We have rings, we have pendants, we have bracelets. In my opinion, gents jewelry is just the perfect companion to a luxury watch, and I do think they play wonderfully together. So if you want to check that out and support the channel, head to the Chisholm Hunter website and look up the Summit Collection, or just click the Summit Collection at Chisholm Hunter in the link below. If we quickly cast our mind back to, let's say, 5 to 10 years ago, Tudor was not in the same position that it is today. In fact, the Black Bay only had its boom, I'm going to say, 8 years ago, and that's when Tudor really started exploding onto the scene. Can you imagine in 8 years' time where Tudor's going to be, given their popularity and given their huge rise in fame? That is just going to make this watch even more special. And the fact that Tudor really typically don't do limited editions, I need to stress that makes it that little bit more special. So the fact that I've even got this in the studio today is a huge, huge privilege, and I'm so excited to share it with you guys. I just thought I'd make a quick video on this watch because I don't think many people have seen it, never mind are speaking about it, and it is, to me, very special. I really hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please consider hitting that subscribe button or follow our Instagram at Chisholm Hunter Watches, or my Instagram at HB Lifelens, or the podcast, the Into the Mind podcast, and I'll see you guys real soon.